Hi there. Do you ever, when working in the ladder in particular, split your stakes into little bits? For example, let me just set a stake of £10. Perhaps you might go in and put in a number of £10 bets like this. So you split your stake up into £10 increments and perhaps put £100 into the market. The purpose of this video is to show you how to do that using automation. There's two ways of doing this, an elegant way and a clumsy way. The clumsy way actually behaves faster, but it looks a bit clumsy in terms of setting it up in the strategy editor. And there's a more elegant way of doing it that only takes one rule, but the bet submission is ever so slightly slower, which you'll see this in action. Let's have a quick look at the elegant way. So I've got a couple of demos set up. So we use split stakes 1, and if I just come across here and pop in a bet, you'll see those bets are going in one after the other, but there's a bit of a delay between them, and that's because of this 1 second delay here. If we go to the strategy editor, something I just discovered when doing this video, you can set this to 0, which is a new one on me. So if we do that, save it, come out of that and then clear all these bets away. Okay, reset and reassign it. Now hopefully you'll see them go in slightly faster. Okay. So that's the elegant way of doing it. Let's have a quick look at the slightly clumsy way. The clumsy way involves setting up separate rules for each individual split bet rather than iterating through all those steps to put in all the necessary split bets totaling your overall stake. So that's why it's a bit clumsy, in that you need all those rules. The number of rules you need is one less than the overall number of iterations you want. So for this particular example, I've got 9 rules in here. So the process is still the same. I just click once to put in the initial bet and you'll see how they all went in immediately. And that's because of the way these rules are set up. They're all set to go at the same time. So from that point of view, this is a much faster mechanism, but it does have some limitations. Going back to the split stakes first version, the elegant version, you'll see I've added in another rule there, but I've temporarily disabled it in order to allow me to describe why you need it in the first place. So if I go back here and add in another bet, so we get our 10 £10 bets going in, you'll see that the first rule has executed 9 out of 10. So if I go back in and put in another bet, that's it. It's just that initial bet that goes in. I don't get the other 9 bets. Similarly, if I was to clear all those unmatched bets away and try again, I only get the 1 bet, and that's because this thing here has gone through its iterations. So what we need to do in order to repeat the process is to set up a rule that will reset that counter. So if I go back to the strategy editor to enable that rule, you'll see that it is going to refer to this rule here, enter split back stake. So we need to go into the action and choose enter split back stake. So that's the rule that this thing is going to refer to. It's going to reset that rule's number of executions. Just make sure that this is referring to the right rule. Okay, let's have a look at what happens this time. Okay, you'll see that I've set this up so that it executes up to 10 times. Now if I go in, pop in a bet, in goes the 10 bets, see it iterating just now, and nothing else happens. Now imagine whilst I'm trading all these bets are matched, or I cancel them all. Keep an eye on the execution counter. See how it goes back to 0? So I can now go back in and I'll get my 10 bets going back in. This will loop round. So I've effectively, the way I've configured it at the moment, I've got 10 chances of doing this. If you find yourself needing more and more, simply increase the number of possible iterations for the execution count on that second rule. Now you'll also find that if I go to another horse, or another team I should say, since I'm looking at football, I can click as many times as I like and I don't get those iterations going through. Okay? You'll need to configure that as an apply to all rule if you want the ability to go in and do this for a number of different runners in the same event at the same time. And consequently you'll need to change the number of back bets. That's the market bet count selector. You need to change that to the selection bet count, and make sure you choose the all option once you've applied that rule as an apply to all. Now obviously I've just been counting on the back side. You can do the same thing for the lay side, but you need another rule like this. So let me just actually show you what that rule is doing. Excuse me. So we have the execution count thing you need to set up, and that's dependent on how many little bets that you want to put in. The action that you want, I'm using place a bet. You could of course use place a trade. You want to use the buy last bet option, so that's looking for you manually putting in your bet. And you can specify here the back bet and it's unmatched. When you want to do the lay side rule, just change that to lay unmatched. This specifies the type of bet you want to put in. So for this rule I'm putting in back bets. I'm looking for any unmatched back bets odds that are sitting waiting in the market to be matched. I'm looking at the max odds of that, and I'm placing this bet one tick above the odds sitting at that level specified by the max odds. Why are we choosing max odds? Because we're going one up at a time. So for each iteration here, it looks at my initial bet that goes in, and its max odds are in this case 1.23, and it puts a bet in one tick higher. It comes along to the next iteration and it looks at this particular runner, this particular team, finds the max odds, which now are 1.24, and puts another bet in one tick higher, and so on. So when you come to doing a lay version, you want to choose min odds and do minus one tick. Specify the individual size for each step that you're taking, and the usual bet persistence, killer fill, and so on and so forth. The conditions: you don't want this rule to fire if you haven't done anything in the market. So you need it to sit and wait for you to manually put in the first bet. So that's where the number of back bets come from. So that's a market bet count. If you want to be able to do different runners at the same time, you'll need to use the apply to all option and change that to the selection bet count. But I'm going to leave that to you to figure out how to do. In addition to that, you also want to specify the maximum number of bets that you'll have in the market when you do this. Reason for that is If you don't, it will put in an extra bet when you run the reset enter split back bet. The second rule here. So specify bottom limit and upper limit. And for the reset rule, you simply want to specify the reset rule's number of executions and specify the rule concerned, which of course is the first one. And the conditions required, you want to reset the count once this rule here has reached its upper limit, which in this case is 9. And you also don't want it to do anything unless there's 0 unmatched bets in the market. Again, you'll need to change that to selection back count if you're using or expanding the rule to cover every runner, or multiple runners at the same time, I should say. So there you go, that's the way to do it. Now you can do the same sort of thing with the second
This market is now in play.
The second strategy. However, it's obviously going to be a bit clunkier because you will need, if I just pull that up, you will need a reset one for every single rule that you have specified here. So that's why I'm saying it gets a bit clunky, although it's slightly faster in terms of inputting the bets. There's quite a bit more work involved in terms of setting the thing up. Okay guys, that's how you would go about splitting your stake and using automation. Give me a shout if you find that useful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.